You're live. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. The theme for today is a Vivica A. Fox Christmas, which is just totally random because you said it the other day. Like, you're like, oh, what about a Vivica A. Christmas? And I thought that was hilarious. So that's the theme.
Well, because she's done like a countless number of these cheapy Christmas movies in the latter half of her career.
Yeah. But clearly no one else thought it was funny because this poll had very little votes.
I mean, they all blend together. They all sound the same. So I don't.
They all do.
Even picking 5 of them was kind of like,
yeah.
I'm not excited to watch any of these.
But the 5 we chose were Christmas Together, Holiday Hideaway, A Christmas Cruise, So This Is Christmas, and A Christmas Wedding, and all feature Vivica A. Fox. The one you would have voted for is?
I voted for So This Is Christmas because the plot sounds really weird and it co-stars Eric Roberts, who we'll come back to in a minute. But I'm actually glad that didn't win because that's almost 2 hours.
I would have also voted for This Is Christmas because of Eric Roberts and because last year on Christmas, we watched
randomly
a film called A Husband for Christmas
from 2016,
starring Vivica A. Fox, Eric Roberts, and the guy from Alien,
Rico Ross, in what might be the worst British accent work I've ever heard.
It's worth watching to witness his British accent, but I thought that movie was fun because it was so ridiculous.
And it's the same director of this film, David DeCoteau.
And that guy directed this film, A Christmas Cruise. And I have to say, this movie doesn't have, A Christmas Cruise is horrible.
It's bad. We've seen this director churns them out. I feel like he does like 10 releases a year. We've seen a few films with him, a really bad Mario Lopez film called Absolution, I think.
And, with all the guys in their underwear.
Yes. And also...
So this director's probably gay.
I don't know. He's done some Puppet Master films that I haven't seen. But he did a really bad movie with Eric Roberts voicing a cat.
That's right. A talking cat.
Eric Roberts sounds drunk. And we've discovered that film because of a How Did This Get Made podcast episode.
Well, and not only does Eric Roberts sound drunk, it sounds like he was recorded from his cell phone. Mm-hmm. Like they paid him $10,000 to do 1 hour's worth of like voiceover, like on speakerphone. But anyway, A Christmas Cruise, the premise. When her best friend invites her along on a holiday-themed sail, an aspiring novelist unexpectedly finds the love of her life on board. So Vivica A. Fox plays this lady who is a writer for a newspaper in New York.
Pam.
Her name's Pam.
What's it called? A New York Minute?
A New York Minute, yeah. And she is overworked. She never has time off.
She's writing a novel.
Her dream is to write a novel, so she's been trying to write it on the side, but has no time.
The way that it's presented, like she's deep into this novel, though.
Yeah.
She's done one
chapter. But then we only see she's done one chapter. But one day her friend is like, meet me for happy hour. No excuses. They go to happy hour. And the friend, this lady named Becky.
Oh.
We're going to talk about their chemistry. But anyway.
Jessica Morris, who's in One Life to Live.
Oh, so they have some soap stars.
We got some soap stars up in here, yeah.
So her best friend Becky says, girl, you need to get out more. You need to stop like putting all your energy into your job when you have other dreams and you need a man. So she surprises Vivica with a cruise. She says, someone bought me a cruise. I can bring someone. I don't have anyone, so I'm bringing you. And we have to talk about the cruise, but it's basically a 5-day thing with 3 nights on this island.
Christmas Island,
where it's supposed to be like this Christmas themed wonderland.
The set decoration of this supposed island is...
We need to talk about all of that.
Whoa.
But immediately when Vivica gets on the boat, she meets the cruise director, played by...
Christopher St. John.
Who everyone should know from Young and the Restless.
Mm-hmm. Who we were sad to learn died.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him too.
Recently.
Yeah. So she meets this man, they fall in love, but like on day 3, they
fall out.
They fall out. Because she invites him
Home for Christmas.
home for Christmas. And he says, well, I can't really do that because I live on the boat and I have a schedule. Like I can't just leave. And also they're in California. I'm assuming her family is back east.
Closer to New York, yeah.
Or something. It's never explained where they are. But it's like, yeah, why would you think this man you've known for 3 days would do all this?
What she should have said to him was like, this is the Christmas to come to my house because like Shirley Caesar, we have everything.
But anyway, they fall out, but during the process, she kind of learns that she needs to pursue her goals. Another thing to note is her boss is this young, handsome guy who's the son of the person who used to own the New York Minute. And he's all about, we need to keep up with the times, literally and figuratively. So he's like, Vivica, you're the best writer we have, but these stories you're writing are like, no one's checking for this. If you can bring me something I can use, I will promote you to managing editor.
Which makes no sense.
No.
So then what if she brings something that she can't use, then she's out of the job?
So,
and if so, she's not treating this very seriously.
No. So her boss says, well, why don't you go? She tells him about this Christmas cruise before she agrees to go because she needs the time off. And he's like, that's perfect. Write an expose on Christmas Island.
But go undercover. What is this theme with these effing Christmas
You know what? It
movies?
just occurred to me that this premise is the same as The Bitch Who Stole Christmas.
Why?
Go do an expose on this area that's really hype about Christmas.
Also,
but it's not a secret. Christmas Island, you can buy tickets to go there.
That's not undercover.
Their marketing team already has like probably a PR release about this place. You don't need to write an expose. But anyway, she does the trip, writes the expose. It's a hit.
A hit.
And then we see that now she's back at home at her office holiday party. And she decides to resign to her boss at the holiday party. She's like, I need to focus on me, write my novel. And as he's kind of like, her boss is actually quite nice because he seems pretty understanding.
Well, he's been calling her the whole time with ailments about his own love
We
life.
need to talk about that too. But as she's resigning, her best friend Becky walks in with the dude Becky hooked up with on the boat, who apparently she's in love with.
Oh, that actor's name is Rib Hollis.
That's funny because you see a lot of his ribs in this movie because we see him without his shirt on, off or on.
That's right.
Anyway, the two of them walk in with Kristoff. And he's basically there to say, like, I made a mistake. You're the love of my life. Let's try to be together in a way that we can both pursue our dreams. The end.
Christopher St. John's character's name is Jake.
Jake. I called him Kristoff, but it's Christopher. Anyway, yeah, this movie's garbage.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who this is for.
I don't know who most of these films are for. If you wanted to do a thesis on Christmas movies, or this niche cottage industry of Christmas movies, you would kill yourself because you couldn't. There are too many. It's insane.
Okay, first of all, the premise of this movie is almost identical to A Husband for Christmas with Vivica A. Fox, because in that movie, her boss, Eric Roberts, tells her, if you want this promotion, then you need to marry your coworker, the British guy, because he's having immigration problems.
Mm-hmm.
So if you marry him, then I'll give you the promotion.
Yes.
Which immediately I would have said yes, like put it in writing.
And then call HR.
And then gone to a lawyer. Like, this is highly inappropriate, but she agrees. And then they try to make this romance work. They fall out, but then they realize that they do love each other. The end. Mm-hmm. It's like the same movie. Mm-hmm. And they're both set on like during Christmas, although there's nothing about either of these movies that need to be set on like during Christmas.
I don't know. I just growing up and the thought of taking someone home for Christmas is like, I got to know this person a little bit, not after several days.
Well, let's talk about that. So the reason Vivica even cares about that is because her mother, who's missing a bottom tooth, is on the phone calling her and is just being so annoying. And it made me think like, I don't know about other people's moms, but I can relate to like, the mom literally says like, I'm sorry to bother you.
And then keeps bothering her.
But keeps bothering her. And I'm like, well, you're annoying. I don't want to talk to you because you're so annoying.
But it's like, should we have ham or turkey? And it's like, well, can you afford both? And just do both, Mom. Just do both.
And then she does call back, like, you know what? Problem averted. We'll just have both. Like,
and then when we see
I'll send you $30 to buy a turkey or a ham.
When we finally see the man that was demanding this ham, he's dressed like he's an usher at a theater or a mason, perhaps.
Oh, I thought Vivica's dad looked like Uncle Ben, but anyway.
But yeah. Yeah, we were making rice jokes at that point.
So we see Vivica at work, and immediately she's like, I'm a writer. I don't get time off. Like, but then the article she's writing, because she does talk to her boss and say, like, well, I wrote this article about like some dog show, and she's not this investigative journalist who's out in the field. It seems like she just sits at her desk, because then we hear examples of her writing, one of which I'm going to recite. But I don't think that this lady should be working as hard as she does to come up with these kind of words.
I agree. And then when there's that scene in the cubicle where she has an annoying coworker who's
known for making cupcakes,
Christmas themed cupcakes, and he really wants people to eat them. And he just wants somebody to tell, shut up. But it really was a scene that displayed the need to work from home.
It really did. But, so when Vivica goes to meet her friend Becky for happy hour, first of all, these two don't seem like... Becky and Vivica seem like if they bumped into each other at the grocery store, they would get into an argument. Like, I don't know how they're best friends.
I don't believe that Vivica A. Fox is friends with this white woman, a woman who was embroiled in scandals with Soulja Boy and 50 Cent.
Jessica Morris?
I don't believe that she was friends.
Oh.
I don't believe that.
Oh, you mean Vivica Fox? Like,
friends with the mental baggage I have about Vivica A. Fox is like, oh, she would eat this one.
They just don't. They have no chemistry. So, and then Becky is so annoying because she's very much like, you're my friend. You need to spend time with me. What are you doing? But then also like so in Vivica's business about you need a man and you need to not work.
Vivica is, taking her undercover notes in her little journal before they get on what looks like the Queen Mary, I believe it is. We get to see the facade of the thing. And she's like, you need to stop it. And she's like, well, I'm journaling. And she takes this journal and throws it. Do you know how pressed? And they're sharing a room.
First of all, why are you so mad that she's trying to get a little work done on this cruise that you sprung on her like the day before? So the fact that she even made it possible to go, and then she's just saying, I need to do a few little things. Yeah, Becky is so selfish. You're not spending time with me. You don't listen to me. That lady's crazy.
She's creepy.
But after happy hour, like they have huge pours of wine that they're drinking and toasting with. When they're done, Vivica's like, oh, well, I have to go back to work. You're going to go back to the office? Like,
oh, yeah.
After you've been drinking all night?
Right now? Like, can't you write your article from home even? I don't know.
In the 29 years I've had a job, I have never walked into work. There's always a scene in a movie where someone walks into their office and someone goes, oh, the boss needs to speak to you right now. Has that ever happened to you? Like you can't even put your bag down.
I mean, I guess I've never been fired from anywhere, but I imagine that would be the scenario where that would be appropriate. But no.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah. But like otherwise, I've never... Anyway, her boss immediately wants to talk to her about the article she's writing. And this guy, he was interesting because his character should be like the young son of the owner who doesn't know what he's doing and is running the business into the ground. But he's actually making sense. Like, no one's buying print. We need to get up on like our website.
I mean, it's 2017.
Right. But
people had not been buying print by then for a minute.
So when Becky throws Vivica's journal, that's when they first get on the boat. And Kristoff is there to pick it up. And he picks up the journal and he starts reading entries out of her journal.
But we see where he's reading. It's on the inside cover.
She just got this book and she just started taking notes. And he's reading from the middle of the journal. So either she writes like a first grader or...
It's one of those movies where it's like, oh, the cameraman, we need to not see some of those details.
Not to be shady, but Vivica tells Kristoff, oh, well, I'm a child of the 90s.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
I'm a child of the 80s, and you're older than I am. You ain't no child.
You are not when I seem to recall you were working at a bank in Set It Off in 1996.
Yeah.
You were not a child of this girl.
So when we see them getting on a boat, and then when they walk into the lobby, that looks like a cruise ship. But after that, they're not on a cruise ship. Because when we get into their hotel, their stateroom that Vivica and Becky are sharing, that looked like a straight up hotel room.
They are all hotel rooms, yes.
And apparently this film was shot in San Pedro, which is like Long Beach kind of, or adjacent, I mean.
It is, yeah.
It
Over the bridge.
It looked like they found a hotel in San Pedro to film.
I believe they did.
And the room they're in is huge. It's like a 2-bedroom or like a 1-room suite with 1 bed though. And when Becky says, come look out the window, check out this view. The view they show us is like from this, I've been on many cruises. That view was like from the smallest balcony stateroom. So the view we get does not match the room they're in.
No.
So then Vivica wants to complain because she's like, we can't sleep in the same bed.
Well, she's okay. This is supposedly a smart woman who's writing her 1 chapter of her novel and works for a New York magazine. Thinks that they can just switch rooms.
So Vivica goes to find the manager, and she goes into the bowels of the ship. I don't know why she did. Every cruise I go on, when you have an issue, there's a front desk on the main level. Like she was in like level 2,
like where the kitchen staff would be.
I think she was deeper than that. She was where like the steam comes from the if they burn coal, like wherever they would burn coal on a ship,
where the stoker would work. I don't know.
So Vivica, like, and she's going in like she had to crawl through a porthole to get there, and she taps on the door, and this man opens the door who happens to be the man on the poster,
Nick Vial,
that white man
who supposedly is a notable podcast host.
She's like, are you the manager? And he's like, yeah, no customer service. And she explains like, I need 2 beds. And he ignores her, yells to someone in the back like, can you take care of this? And literally pushes his way past Vivica. No customer service, which is unheard of on a cruise ship. So then who does she see behind him? Christopher, with no shirt on. Yeah. And she's like, oh, so clearly she's into him. And he's a very handsome man.
Yes, he is.
And he comes out and he's not friendly to her. He's like, well, I can send you a rollaway. That's all we can do.
Well, she's like, can I just change rooms? He's like, you've seen how many people on this ship.
Yeah.
No, actually, there's only 25 extras in all the scenes.
Can we talk about that? Because the ship they show us looks like...
The ship is not full.
Well, first of all, like the exterior of the ship looks like it would be like Navigator of the Seas, like something that can hold 3,000 people. But we never see more than like 20 people at a time in these tiny little rooms. And then the views we get, like it's just stock footage of the ship out at sea. But then when they actually get on Christmas Island, there aren't that many people.
No.
Like maybe a couple dozen people. Like that's the most you'll see at once. It just makes no sense. I don't even know why this needed to be on a cruise ship, because that makes it seem more ridiculous. It should have just been a resort that's like Christmas themed.
Well, just clearly you don't have access to a cruise ship. So why don't we change this rinky-dink little script enough that clearly you shot in less than a week? Because
the other thing is they say it's like 200 miles from the port. So I'm assuming it's Catalina maybe, or that other island right off Southern California. Why would they take this huge ass cruise ship to this tiny little island? Where are all these people going to go?
They should have just made him like a tugboat captain. Yes. Who lives on his boat, and they somehow fall in love, and there's a conflict because he can't leave the tugboat. I don't know why. Just like in A Husband for Christmas, where the dramatic catalyst is that Rico Ross has to not have citizenship. And clearly can't speak with a British accent. If you want Rico Ross, just change this. Just make up some other inane scenario.
And the schedule, we're told, is they get on the boat for 1 night, they get to the island, spend 3 nights, and then come back the 5th night. But like all this commotion to get on this huge cruise ship to travel for 1 night to some tiny island 200 miles away, it's just such a dumb premise.
Christmas Island.
So Vivica, I can see why she doesn't have a man in this movie.
Oh,
she's awkward. It's painful First of all, her and Christopher have no chemistry.
Nope. Mm-mm.
He looks like he can't believe he's doing this. And he's looking at her like he's looking at her like, what's wrong with you and your face? I don't get it. Then her fashions, this movie was made in 2017, but it looks like 2003. She's just so awkward. I don't understand. The casting is really weird because we have Vivica A. Fox and her best friend Becky. We have Christopher as the cruise director. We have this hunky guy who's the cruise manager, who's also sexy Santa, right?
He barely pops up to do anything.
At one point we have to talk about him being sexy Santa, but then we have this young couple.
Oh yeah,
who are and they're 25, I think, like their age. They're on the cruise celebrating their engagement,
and they are defined by the man's love for shrimp.
For all you can eat shrimp.
All you can eat shrimp, which, if it's good shrimp, that's exciting.
Then Corin Nemec is in the film, who I had the biggest crush on when I was younger because he was Parker Lewis, Explains It All. And then we reviewed on the podcast, I Know My Name is Steven. He was Steven. He's in this movie playing this guy who has like foot problems. So the entire film, he's bebopping around limping in pain. And he's saying weird shit like he once speed walked from Miami to LA and his arches fell. So that's why he can't walk properly. He's just insane. There's no comedic, there are no jokes, but I can tell that the writer was trying to be comedic and it does not work. It's painful to sit through.
It is. And you were right. His name is Kristoff, not Christopher.
Oh, it is Kristoff. Sorry to this man.
No, I'm sorry. That was me.
So we get to a moment, the first night on the ship, where they have their like traditional like Christmas present giveaway. Oh, so on a ship God. That had like, based on the photos of the ship, there should be thousands of people on this boat because Kristoff said it was sold out.
I mean, there's enough people and they are acting like this is the Titanic.
Yes.
I have no relatives to say goodbye to me.
Oh yeah, they're like, wave to for what? For one night out at sea to go to the island across the way.
Transatlantic, please.
Yeah, but the sexy Santa is up on stage, which looks like he's in the conference room of like a DoubleTree.
Yes.
And he's wearing like a Santa uniform, but it's open so you can see his chiseled physique. And he just gets up there with no introduction, no build up. And he's like, time to give presents away. And he just starts calling people's names. And all the gifts that people are getting are like tailored to them.
This was giving me Midsummer vibes. Like you were picked to be here and you were going to die on this ship.
It was so weird that I felt like that could have been the basis for a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Who is in charge of finding out personal details of every passenger on the ship and then buying them a gift?
Do you know how weirded out I would be if we went somewhere and they're like, oh, we bought a hand-tailored gift for you. It's a paper mache Sigourney Weaver balloon. I would be creeped the fuck out.
Yeah, I would be so creeped out. But in this movie, they don't even mention it.
No, okay. Oh no, but so both Becky and Pam get their little gift. Pam gets hers first, and then Becky gets called, and she has the audacity to tell Pam, "Don't you open yours till I get back."
Becky is so bossy. Which, I will say, like as a friend, I'm probably like that a little bit, like very involved in what we're doing. But I guess that's my way of showing like I'm engaged. Like when she said, don't open your present until I get back, if I would have said that, I would have meant that I want to open it with you. Like, I want to see what you got. Like, let's make a big deal out of it. But you're right. She's very bossy. Okay. There's nothing charming about watching like a romantic comedy with two people who have no chemistry. They are so low energy. If you told me Kristoff had just been had ECT treatment the day before he started filming, I wouldn't be surprised. He just there's no energy to these people. So did we care if they were to get together?
No.
It doesn't even make sense for them to be in a relationship.
Right.
Because Kristoff seems to really like his job as a cruise director. And we all know people who do that job live on the boat and they're gone for long periods of time. And we know Vivica, her character, is at a crossroads, and she wants to write this novel. She's saying she needs more time for herself. So why would you then engage in a long-term relationship with someone who spends most of their time out at sea? Like we don't want them to be together. We don't care if they're together. This shit was so boring.
Yep.
And then the two of them arguing about their futures when they've only known each other for 1.5 days.
Yes.
Because once they get on the island that night, they sort of recognize that like they should be together. And so Kristoff tells Vivica, like, well, we have to keep it under wraps. And then he starts telling her, like, you need to really focus on yourself more. And she immediately gets upset. Like, how like, who are you to tell me? And it's like, yeah, bitch, you don't know this man and he doesn't know you.
Well, it's like, and come home for Christmas to meet my parents. Like, I wish he had busted out some Outcast lyrics with, like, I don't want to meet your daddy, I just want you, my caddy. Like, yeah. I don't want to know you like that yet.
Well, he did kind of make a face like, well, like, I don't know, I'm going to find an excuse. Okay, Vivica, we see her finally writing on her laptop. And her typing the words that she's saying out loud is very laughable.
Also, we don't read out loud when we write, do we? That is an old trope. And I'm also always reminded of Halle Berry in A Perfect Stranger with Bruce Willis, where she's reading out loud to us. Like,
yes, that's right. But she's sitting in her stateroom, which looks like a huge hotel room. And she's typing on this like chaise lounge with this horrible dress, this ugly ass dress on. And then her big white Skechers shoes are in the shot. It's just so unflattering. Mm-hmm. She's typing like a cat. And then she's reciting her lines that were, I'm going to read a portion of what she wrote. There is a certain inescapable, old-fashioned charm to Christmas Island. At every turn, the streets are festooned with tinsel and candy canes. The smell of gingerbread is in the air. On my first excursion from the ship to Christmas Island, I met a charming marine biologist, Paul, who complimented me on my jade flounder necklace.
The jade flounder necklace took me out. Also,
this is how she writes. These are the words she writes.
Jade flounder necklace. And then she also, I love how she also questioned, like, is festoon, does that fit?
No. Then we get a scene like where we're doing karaoke, which again, that scene looked like it was in someone's house.
Oh,
like someone's 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in San Pedro.
And it's like
and we're in the living room.
Isn't it like the goodbye event to the ship? And there's like less than 15 people in there.
Yeah, and some gay boy in some sleeveless shirt working the bar who made some gross sounding drink. But I don't know what purpose that scene served, except Kristoff is singing like karaoke. That was super awkward.
Yes.
Why are we so focused on this young couple? Who cares about them? The only purpose they serve is at a point. Actually, the karaoke scene did serve the purpose of the guy walking up and basically saying like he's scared to get married. So his fiance gets upset and runs out.
Which was, you haven't seen it, but that's very Giovanni Ribisi and the other sister.
Oh, I should watch that because I like him. And you said he and Parker Posey?
Juliette Lewis.
Oh, he and Juliette Lewis. They play special needs siblings?
In a Gary Marshall production, yes.
And they fall in love?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds like a podcast movie.
Yeah.
This girl runs outside upset because her fiance's thinking about what it means to be married. And who does she seek counsel from? Vivica Fox.
The divorcee, right? She's
who can't find a man.
I think she's divorced in this.
You know, I always say I don't take relationship advice from a single bitch. I don't understand why, like, the absolute worst person to talk to about relationships, and you're out there. And then Vivica's giving her advice like she knows what she's talking about.
After her 3-day whirlwind romance.
You know me. If someone asks me something I don't know, I'll tell you I am not the person to ask about this.
Like,
and Vivica's just like, yeah, this is what, like, it's normal to feel this way. How you know?
Well, right. And also, like, I'd just be like, you have some decisions to make. Leave me alone.
At the holiday party, after the reason Vivica is outside when that fiance runs outside upset is because Vivica gets upset that Kristoff calls her ma'am in front of the group. Like, he's doing karaoke. And he's like, who wants to do it first? And he looks at Vivica like, hey, ma'am, do you want to do it? And she gets mad and goes, you know who I am. Girl, didn't he already tell you we have to keep this shit under wraps?
No, ma'am, Pam.
he's trying to be professional at his job, and then you get mad that he doesn't act like he knows you on a like. Pam is unreasonable.
Very, yes. And she seems not to occupy a world of logic. Yeah.
So there's a moment that Vivica, because of course Vivica's upset. Kristoff comes out to talk to her. Then Becky and this man with the ribs. What's his name again?
Rib Hollis. His name is Paul in the film, but yeah.
He's in very good shape.
Rib. That's a cute stage name. Adam Rib.
He actually reminded me of like if Daniel Tosh had a tan and were like in shape more. That's what this man looked like. The man who Becky falls in love with immediately.
It's creepy when they meet because Becky makes eyes with him from across the stateroom and he hones in on her and Becky drops Pam like she's dying.
Well, because that rib brings over Corin Nemec, and Corin Nemec's being super weird with her. Anyway, the four of them, Vivica, Kristoff, Becky, and McRib, they're standing there like sort of thinking about the meaning of Christmas. And Kristoff starts singing Joy to the World. And they all embrace, like now they understand the meaning of life. Like that's what they say, basically. So that's what Vivica took with her when she decided to go home and quit her job. When she gets upset with him, she says, "You want me to quit my job, leave my nice apartment, and move to a cruise ship to follow you around?" Like, you're moving so fast.
This is warp speed romance.
It doesn't make any sense. This romance doesn't make any sense. I mean,
it's like clearly she's not planning on having children anymore. So what is the rush?
At this point in the film, the only thing that would have made it better or okay is if she like jumped off the ship. Like if she would have ended her life and jumped off the ship.
Are we done talking about her wardrobe?
You want to revisit it?
Well, she has this one thing on with fringe at the bottom, like this. It's a one-piece mini skirt thing, and there's fringe. We have a blanket on our couch.
We have a throw on our couch that looks exactly like this dress she's wearing.
That yellow.
Also, you know, Vivica has a wig line, and her wigs are they're a little synthetic looking. So I think for the most part, she looks fine.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that a woman who says she has no time for anything in her life has time to go get fillers and Botox. Yeah. But there's one, I don't know.
I mean,
her wigs sit real funny, especially when she pulls her hair back. I'm a little confused that a woman Vivica is a businesswoman and she has a wig line. You would think that her hair would always be on point. Because judging by her, I mean, that's not good marketing for her to look like that in this movie.
Well, I don't know. You can't blame Vivica A. Fox because they churn these movies out. She's worked even just with this. If you're just counting what she did with this particular director, she's probably like her character in the film. She doesn't have any time.
When Vivica gets back home to New York, she's looking through her cell phone, like reminiscing about Kristoff. And she pulls up a picture of him that reminded me of Joaquin Phoenix and Napoleon.
Like a lizard sunning himself.
When you said he looked like a lizard sunning himself. That was a horrible picture.
Yeah, it was really bad. There's another scene on Christmas Island, I think the sun is setting, where we paused it because the two of them are supposedly swooning for each other in love, and they look like some meds have just kicked in.
The final scene of the film is Vivica has successfully written her novel. And we see her sitting, reading her novel at a book signing. And she says the way she words it sounds like she read like the end of the book.
I don't believe, again, everybody's different, but I don't believe you read the end of the book out loud.
No, you read a passage that intrigues people to buy the book.
To buy the book, not the end, because if I heard the end and maybe it's not good.
But I brought it up for that reason, but also because the way she looks with her sort of like harsh wig line and like her face in general, watching her read reminded me of like Drag Queen Story Hour.
Oh my God. But then we pan to all of the people in the audience. sometimes it's like they pluck these people off the streets of San Pedro to.
They probably said, anyone want to be in a movie? We have sandwiches.
Yeah.
They're the sandwiches you buy from the grocery store in that round thing, but they're there. And that's who showed up. My last note is, during the end credits, there is an artist named Kyle Castellani who sings a song called A Christmas State of Mind, which made me think, were they trying to do something like a New York State of Mind, like Alicia Keys and Jay-Z?
That is,
It's not a good song. I'm sorry.
yeah, I definitely didn't need
What
that.
would you give A Christmas Cruise?
This is just like filler. This is like the packaging in stuff like the peanut packaging. Like this, you just get it and you throw it away. This is a 0.5.
Well, to quote Mariah Carey on Got to Be Real when she talks about Rihanna, this movie serves no purpose. It's like the card in the deck of cards that's just words.
Mhm.
It's not even the Joker. That's this movie.
This is like using Wingding's font in Microsoft Word. Like I don't understand who this is for.
I would give it 0.5 out of 5. We talked about this movie for a long time.
We did.
Okay. Yeah, this movie is available on YouTube in like high def. So so there's that. Someone is jamming to Janet's Number Ones while doing housework. I also have some housework to do. I threw my back out last week, so I was out of commission for 2 days. Merry Viva Christmas. Oh, that would have been a good one. Viva Christmas. We won't be doing this again.
No.
Oh, someone's excited for our top movies and worst hair list. We're also doing, this year, we're going to do a video for best performances. And everyone will be a winner. And if they want a trophy, we'll send them one. But they have to ask me.
Okay.
Like direct. Like Taraji P. Henson will have to DM me directly.
Okay, so you're giving out hints now.
Well, just little morsels of who's on my list. But
okay.
What I want to do, would you want to do a Christmas cruise?
No.
Well, my immediate thought is there would be children on the boat.
If there's children, no.
And absolutely, I'm not going on a cruise ship with children.
No, I don't care if the liquor's free. I don't want it.
I keep saying I would do a regular cruise. Because I used to do gay cruises, but I would do a regular cruise, but it would have to be adults only, which is like a Virgin cruise.
Sure.
But they don't port from Southern California. I'd have to go to Miami. Oh, Eric Roberts skeeves you out.
You know, in the beginning of his career, he had some pretty impressive.
What's that movie in Australia where he's like the Coke or Pepsi executive?
Oh, the Coca-Cola kid.
The Coca-Cola kid.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I really like Star 80, the Bob Fosse film, where he stalks and kills Dorothy. Is it Dorothy Stratton, the Playboy centerfold?
Oh.
Played by Mariel Hemingway. Runaway Train, I think, is great. That's a Konchalovsky film. There's something. Oh, you know, in the 90s is kind of when he started falling off. But I actually really love Final Analysis with Richard Gere and Kim Basinger. I don't know if you remember Eric Roberts in that as Kim Basinger's abusive boyfriend, who's all roided out.
No.
That's a fun movie. Uma Thurman is her younger sister.
The director of this film has 178 credits. So that should tell you. And over the course of how many years? Like, he's making a movie a month?
I mean, I can't believe we've seen 5 of his films.
Well, he has so many that it's like when you go onto the TV, you're bound to come across one of them. So do we know that the ship was the Queen Mary?
Yes.
It was.
With something else printed on the side.
Oh, it's called the Christmas Queen. The name of the boat is Christmas Queen. We stayed at the Queen Mary in 2018.
Yeah,
because it's a hotel now. So we stayed for my birthday one year. And the suite you got, it was interesting because what year was it built? I don't know, the 20s, I don't know. But it feels very old, but it was a big ass room you got. Because it had like a living room and a separate bedroom. And
we also watched a screening of Titanic outside of the Queen Mary, which is really kind of macabre.
Yeah, we went to a screening where they had there's a big lot like in front of the Queen Mary where they set up a huge screen, but from where you're sitting, you can see the Queen Mary perfectly in the background while you're watching the movie. And I did think that was kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's like watching some dictator making you do something in front of the other country he defeated.
Right. Someone said when Becky gifted Viv the cruise, I was like, but how will she solve the turkey ham crisis if she's on a cruise?
Oh my God, the turkey ham.
I understand why they needed that, because we needed to establish that there's pressure for Vivica to bring someone home for Christmas. And then she talks about, the conundrum of the way her parents or her mother, because if she does bring someone home, then there's pressure for her to do that. And then if she doesn't, then her family's disappointed, obviously. But it just seems like, why would you want your child to rush into a relationship just to
right?
It's so weird. That mom was annoying.
Yes.
I must acknowledge the effort to make the set look like a cruise ship. They failed, but they tried. I don't know.
When Becky says, look at the view, we didn't need that shot. We didn't.
Why would you even set yourself up for failure to say, come look at this view?
Why would you?
And then show us, it looked like someone's cell phone footage from being on an actual boat.
Or I would have been more interested if they mysteriously didn't show us what they were looking at.
Yeah.
I can use my imagination.
And that was terrible. Joseph, please compare this movie to your Wealth of Cruise experience. Well, I can't, because this movie is not set on the boat. Like, it's clearly not. I will say the cruise staff, like the cruise director, they are very much in everyone's, they're very friendly. Like, they'll just stop you and talk. But then it's like Vivica has never been on a cruise ship, so she thinks that Kristoff is I don't know. She just seems like a woman who's not very worldly. But then
but you're living in New York.
You're living in New York in an amazing apartment, and you're like an accomplished writer, like a journalist. Where is she pulling shit from?
Do you know how well the New York Minute must pay her for her articles to afford that apartment by herself in New York?
The guy with all the ailments. The boss was like Scott Disick doing a New York accent. Yeah, I thought he was cute and he was nice. Like, he didn't seem like a dick. And he was pretty sympathetic to her.
Did we talk about him calling her all the time about his
No, we didn't. So her boss is also trying to find love, and we see that during her little trip, he calls her and wants to talk about his dating life and what he should do. I thought that was so awkward and unnecessary.
Well, and just stupid. Even if the fact that that's included as a trope is stupid, but the fact that what he's saying is even worse, because he's like, oh, this young woman named Amy was interested in me. And I said no, because there was a girl from elementary school who I liked named Amy, and I didn't want to have that memory.
We didn't need that.
That is...
Someone said we needed Christmas Cruising starring George Michael.
Ooh,
that's shady.
With a serial killer on the boat.
Oh, The Bitch Who Stole Christmas. Our most recent podcast episode is about that movie. It's a VH1 original starring RuPaul and a bunch of drag queens. What is Nick Viall doing on the poster when he's in the movie for 3 minutes?
That's what we kept saying.
That's what I was confused by.
But why isn't poor deceased Kristoff St. John on the poster?
Well, especially because Sexy Santa, if you're going to use Nick Viall, then they should have had him shirtless on the poster. That's what I would do if you want to get attention. But he's not, so why not just show the equally handsome star of the movie? But whatever. Oh, that's right. Vivica in her journal wrote opulent holiday decor.
The decor on the island, they just stuck candy canes in the trees.
There's a scene where they're sitting in front of some bushes and all you see are random candy canes. Where's the opulence? Like
They don't have
where?
everything.
They don't have everything. They really don't. It does look like they spent. I bet you whomever was in charge of set design probably went to the dollar store.
They didn't even
and
go to
spent
work.
like $400.
When they should have at least gone to World Market. Come on.
No, it's terrible. Thank you, BMCK. Hi, Shirley. Joseph is a Scorpio and Nick is a Scorpio. Joseph, do you wave bye to Nick when you're on the cruise leaving the dock? No, because, well, first of all, I drive myself to the ship.
I've dropped you off.
You dropped me off once. But
Twice.
Twice. It's not that expensive to park at the port, like versus inconveniencing you or taking an Uber. Like it would be the same. It's like $100, like, I don't know, like $30, which I think is reasonable for 7 nights. Because to park at the airport is like it's like $120 a night. So, but no, the other thing is getting onto the ship takes a long time because you have to go through security and all the things and check in. So you'd be sitting out there for an hour before I could get onto the boat and wave bye.
Yeah, no, I don't need to wave goodbye. He's coming back.
Is that a real house or a green screen? You mean what's behind us? It's not a green screen. Nick is giving Virgo vibes.
I don't know what that means.
Like Beyonce vibes?
Sure. Is she a Virgo?
Yeah. Well, I think so because she says she has a song about a Virgo.
What's that new series I haven't seen also? Is it called I'm Not a Virgo?
Oh, I don't know about that.
From the guy that did Sorry to Bother You?
Oh, yes. The coworker who's all about cupcakes, sweating all over them damn cupcakes. No.
Yeah, I needed violence to happen to him.
You know, even like sitting at a restaurant and the server, like when you see the server walking with your food and they start talking and just like, I mean, I know someone probably coughed all over my food in the back, but I don't want to see it. Like they're just holding my food and like talking over it. Oh. Yeah. When I used to have to work in an office and coworkers would bring like their treats that they made from home. Ugh. You know, my little brain was thinking of ways I could tell them I don't want that shit. Like I can't. I just can't eat your homemade shit from like I don't know. You're not clean here. I don't know why. Your desk is dirty. Like, I don't know. There's no way your house is clean. And then you want me to eat some guacamole you made last night. No. People are talking about astrological signs. I really don't know anything about astrology.
I don't either. I only know tidbits about Scorpio since that's what I'm in. But
yeah, if Viva and her best friend would have got together, that would have been interesting.
Civics is 60. Vivica. The autocorrect for Vivica is civics.
Oh, I saw that. Like, I don't understand what civics is.
I mean, I took that in 9th grade. Yeah.
Oh, you like Nick's shirt today.
Oh, thank you.
Vivica was in so many one season 90s shows. Oh my gosh. I watched Out All Night when it came out. That was the show with Patti LaBelle.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to I always wondered, how did they get her to memorize her lines? Because Patti can't even memorize her own song lyrics.
Well, so, get her short-term memory going and film for the day, and there you go.
But I did rewatch not too long ago, a couple years ago on YouTube, some episodes that were put up of Out All Night. And looking at it later, you can see that that Patti LaBelle, the way it's edited, she can't say too many lines at once. Like they probably had to they had to feed her lines.
Oh, Vivica was, she should have a much better career, I think. I mean, I'm happy that she's working constantly and has made a name for herself, but it's like she really should have been a bigger star than she ended up being, with Independence Day and Set It Off. And, I think she's got that one scene that's really good in Kill Bill Volume 1, but, her pedigree suggests that she should have had a lot better offers than she has.
I think a lot of it has to do with her appearance. When she was younger, she was very cute, pretty. And then I think as she has aged, like with what she's doing to her face, and I just can't imagine her in like a serious role. Like I just can't picture her playing someone's like who's the guy who did Tar?
Todd Field.
I can't imagine Todd Field like casting her to play someone's aunt. Like it just yeah.
But there's a lot of touched up looking people in Hollywood. I think that
there's
space for her.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have to be a very specific role. Like I just can't even. I also think she seems to have like she seems to take herself quite seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
yeah, Vivica really went down to the engine room.
Oh yeah, Andre Braugher just died too.
Oh, that guy, Sexy Santa, was The Bachelor at some point.
I did not know that.
Oh, and he was a contestant twice before?
Oh, yeah. See, I haven't watched a second of any of that.
Oh, wow.
But good for him, I guess.
Nick, do you recite aloud while you write your reviews like Vivica was doing?
Oh, no. No, I'm very quiet.
A Christmas tugboat doesn't have the same ring to it. A sequel where Kristoff reveals himself to be an obsessive killer. That was the vibe he was giving. Yeah. So Kristoff St. John, he was on Young and the Restless for almost 4 decades. And I grew up watching him. And I remember him very clearly because there weren't that many brown people on. And my mom liked soap operas. She liked Young and the Restless and All My Children. So I do remember him, and he looked fantastic because he was what, 54 in this movie?
52 and he died.
Oh, 50. So he was like 51 in this movie. He looks fantastic.
He does. And I didn't realize he was a child actor because he was in, it's a remake, but The Champ with John Voight and Faye Dunaway, apparently his scenes were cut, but I would have been interesting to see him as a little kid.
Oh, now it's Parker Lewis can't win. Oh, poor Corin Nemec.
Corin had a sad job he was offered.
Triangle of Christmas.
I would watch that.
Like, yeah, does every passenger get a gift? That's such a dumb.
Also, why do I want to sit and watch that?
Or they should have introduced it, like for anyone who participated in the White Elephant or some kind of thing to establish that like this is a specific. There's just no care taken in trying to make this story make sense. And I feel offended because shit can be stupid. It can have a low budget. It can have bad acting, but it can't, like all the boxes can't be checked.
Right.
That's where I think it's a 0.5 movie. Oh my God, the amount of times they said rollaway bed. Why would you sleep on a rollaway bed for one night knowing that it's so uncomfortable when there's this huge king size bed there and you're going to sleep with your best friend?
Why can't you share the bed?
Why can't you share the bed? And I know people do because I worked in a casino in Vegas for 4 years, and you would get like four college bros coming for spring break, and they would all fucking sleep in the bed. Like, you do what you have to do. Oh, he was 52 when he died. Oh. Yeah, when Vivica tells Kristoff, like, so you want to just live on a boat? Like, do you even have a crib to go back to? No, bitch, I work on a boat. Oh, all of her outfits were atrocious.
They all seem to be of a similar material as well, I noticed.
Nick reads out loud when he writes, biting his pencil. All of your pens are chewed up.
Yes, as Sigmund Freud would say, I have an oral fixation probably. But yes, they are all bitten.
Margot, you got dumped and would love a shout out. Well, are you sad that you got dumped, or is life better being single? Shout out to Margot with her single ass. Why did he leave you? What did you do?
Or did you leave him or her or them?
Them, yes. I don't know what, but you made a sad face, so it sounds like the breakup was not what you wanted.
You know what? You'll love again, girl. You'll love again.
You know, time is.
What's that song?
I will love again.
Laura something? Not Laura Branigan. Although I do like a Self-Control. That's more my song.
Donna Summer has a song about time is the healer, or jade flounder necklace.
He caught the marine biologist complicated. My jade flounder necklace. That's shade, girl. That's not a compliment.
Yeah, Daniel Tosh in a Christmas movie. I'd like that. There are just so many questions about Christmas Island. I don't know. I mean, it's not even worth the trouble. What is a wig line? You mean, well, I'm saying that Vivica Fox.
You were talking about Vivica's wig line.
She has a company that sells wigs, but also wig line meaning like her hairline. Like it's like a hard line when it should look natural, you know, but.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the group singing. I think that I had to look away.
A lizard sunning himself. I would watch Napoleon again, actually.
Not anytime soon.
There have been drag queen cruises. If we wrote I don't think our movie, like Lifetime, it'd be hard to write a Lifetime movie because they don't really. No, they do
Lifetime. You can get seedy.
Yeah, you can get pretty adult. Like you can have adult themes. Yeah, maybe
Lifetime. You can be outrageous, actually. So
we should write if anyone out there knows someone at Lifetime, yeah, I would love to work on the story. And my fee would be very reasonable.
Your fee?
Yeah.
Okay. Should be, because you're not going to do any of the writing. And that's not a stipulation on my part. You just won't. So,
in honor of this movie, please tell us a cruise story. Oh God.
Yeah, tell us a cruise story.
I can't even think of one. It'll have to come to me. It'll pop into my head. Wing ding font.
Yeah, when she quits her job and she lives in New York, it's like, you dummy. Like, just ask for a sabbatical. Ask for less hours, or say you don't want that promotion, but stay. I don't know.
Oh, this question. So, sparked by the example of combining a cruise maritime narrative with a Christmas story, are there particular genre hybrids or mashups you enjoy?
I'd have to. That's a good question, but I'd have to think more on it. But something like a Western horror film, I do enjoy things like that, where we take familiar themes and tropes and kind of create something new and interesting and weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see a Christmas cruise horror film where there's a serial killer chopping up the gays on the boat that seem to can't help themselves with drugs. Sure, give it to me.
Have I seen Two Can Play That Game with Vivica?
No, because I haven't. Well, you might have. I haven't.
Should I go see Poor Things in the cinema today?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent film. And really worth seeing in a film. And that also is cruise related.
Eric Roberts was amazing in It's My Party and the Pope of Greenwich Village.
I've never seen the Pope of Greenwich Village. It's My Party. It's been years and years. What a great cast in that, though. Is that Randall Kleiser? Yeah, that's fun. I mean, sad. It's not fun.
I just did Carnival Cruise out of Miami. It was nuts. Everybody's ass was out and thongs everywhere. Crazy.
Like in Stella got her groove. How Stella got her groove back.
People get on a boat and just lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
They eat, drink too much, and look crazy. Nick, the color blue looks really nice on you. It complements your eyes.
Oh, thank you. They say, you know, I was stuck in a dentist's office and was forced to listen to Kelly Ripa on the screen that I couldn't turn off. She said to dress for your eyes.
I wouldn't listen to shit Kelly Ripa says, except how to stay awake without any proper nutrition. Tom Cruise.
You know, her show is with her husband. I don't know if that was a one-off thing, but I was so annoyed having to listen to those two.
There is not a single thing about that lady that I find.
You know,
she seems real fake to me.
I show up early to the dentist, and it doesn't matter because I want to get out early, and they still make me wait longer. The dentistry in LA has a problem.
I told you go to my dentist, but you don't want to.
Do they show bullshit TV in the morning? Because I hate that.
Well, in the waiting room, yeah, they usually have. So sometimes, well, I'm not going to talk about that, but when you go back to the chair, they usually ask, like, what do you want to watch? That's how I was introduced to the Great British Baking Show.
I can't read. I can't put music on because I got to wait for my name to be called. It's frustrating to me.
Well, it's very on brand for you. Tom Cruise is the Queen Mary.
Oh, Tommy.
Have we heard Pink Friday 2 by Nicki Minaj? No. Not yet.
Oh, that reminds me though. I want to watch that series from '85, the Atlanta child murders.
You know, Barbra Streisand is getting the Lifetime Achievement Award from SAG. Would we do a Barbra Streisand poll? Sure.
There's a lot of Barbara I have to catch up on. I've never seen The Way We Were. I've seen Funny Girl, but not Funny Lady. She's not my fit. The Owl and the Pussycat I haven't seen. I think Nuts is fun. Prince of Tides is great. Actually, Yentl I've never seen. We gotta watch Yentl.
Sure. So internet service on the cruise ships has gotten better just from when I started going on cruises to the most recent one. The internet was quite good, but you don't get cell service out on the ocean, so you'd want to turn off your cellular data, but you can get good internet. Well, someone's watching us while they're in line for a Broadway show starring Sarah Paulson.
Oh,
what's the show?
I do like Sarah Paulson.
Two Scorpios in a relationship. People always say that. I don't know what that means.
If anything, usually I placate them by saying we're both cuspy in opposite ways of that spectrum, and then usually people are like, oh, that's how it works. I don't know why. Oh, Boots Riley did. I am not a Virgo. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind working in an office again. I mean, not like at a cubicle, like just doing nothing, but I mean, I think it'd be fun to.
I don't like it.
Like be in a collaborative space and be more efficient and socialize and.
Office work feels like being in a Soviet propaganda film to me. Just this is not how humans should be.
Well, you can't do everything remotely. So I think there are spaces where you can you have to work in person.
But not for 8 hours, not for 8 whole hours.
Well, I don't think that makes sense, but okay.
Well, it depends on the job. We're having a context issue here, but yeah.
Vivica went through an interesting phase when she dated 50 Cent.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And she stirred that pot afterwards too, like she didn't need to do. Like 50 Cent, even if you just look at his Instagram, he is a bully. He's a straight up bully. Like why? And she dated him and told us about the sex thing she did with him. So presumably you know that he's going to come out hard. What's the point? What's the point?
How do you put your movie schedule together? Like movies you review versus movies watching for fun?
I just watch everything. Usually the week is the schedule for me, like what's coming out.
Didn't Vivica have a show where she judged male dancers? Yeah. Wasn't it?
I never saw
like
that.
Chocolate City, or I could be so wrong, but I recall her having a show like that.
Is she is it Independence Day Resurgence, which is really bad with Charlotte Gainsbourg and what's his name, who's clearly out of his mind in the wheelchair? I'm forgetting his name. Damn.
Oh, someone works at the Mandalay Bay. We like that casino.
Yeah.
Who's excited for Drag Race season 16?
I'm getting tired.
I mean, I'll watch it.
It's getting to be a lot. Yes.
Okay, I got to get through these.
I'm trying to think of who's the man that's out of his mind, character actor with the gravelly voice. Bill Bob.
What?
Robert Loggia. In Independence Day Resurgence, he is clearly not all there.
Can you recommend 40s to 60s wintry movies?
40s to 60s. Wintry movies. We are. I would need time to think about that.
Lifetime movies be like husband cheats on wife with her sister to kill her for the sake of preserving his marriage to his wife.
Basically, that also reminds me. I've been wanting you to watch the Valerie Bertinelli, Louise Fletcher In a Child's Name, which was a favorite from my childhood, where Valerie's sister gets beaten and then murdered. I believe it's by Michael Ontkeen, and then they're struggling for who can get the kid. It's very dark. That's why I discovered what luminol was.
Oh, I used to work at the Aladdin, which is now called Planet Hollywood.
Favorite Christmas Carol movie? The Dickens adaptation? Probably Scrooged.
So Margot says that her now ex said that she's too emotional, but that she just wanted him to feel special.
Well, we're all human and we have emotions. So,
what's your favorite Grace Kelly movie?
Grace Kelly. You know, I don't think she should have won for The Country Wife, but I don't know. Would it be? See, she doesn't have a lot to do in Rear Window. Probably Dial M for Murder.
Oh, the Share Christmas album is good. Someone asked, what was the last meal you cooked in your kitchen? We'll talk about that on the podcast tomorrow. That'll be a fun one. Oh, no, I didn't. I don't know anything about Matthew Perry's autopsy.
No, I haven't read about it.
I don't know.
Barbara Streisand said she's retiring from acting. Great. So then you can give the rights back to the Gypsy Rose Lee story that Sigourney Weaver wanted to do. Give it back.
Boy.
Barbara. But yes, she does have some good movies, and I just never in the mood. We heard some story. You were listening to some podcast, I think, about Barbara Streisand. She was in a car being driven somewhere, and she heard a voice on the radio, and she's like, I must know what that voice is. And she goes to the hotel she's staying, and she's like, could you call the radio station to see who was on this voice at 9:06 p.m.? And it was her. It was her when she was young. She forgot that she recorded the song. That shit sent me. I hated that story. Like, you dummy. Ugh. And the fact that you had the audacity to say that out loud, like, shut up. Anyway, yes, she has done some good movies.
Do we like Pisces? Sure. Well, I mean, like fish?
Like fish, yeah. As in, like, people that are
Pisces? I really don't know anything about astrology. And when people tell me things, to me, it's like, oh, you're saying you believe in the Easter Bunny? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Not to demean anyone's. I just don't know. I don't know anything. And I think I like all signs. I'm pretty sure I've slept with all signs as well.
Wow. On that note, we need to end this live. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
All right. Ta-ta.